Hello everyone, JSimLady here. Welcome back. Today we are doing a Christmas scene in Disney Dreamlight Valley. I've put this up on the frosted floating island, so it's a little bit shorter of my typical Dreamlight Valley speed builds because I'm not redoing an entire biome. I'm not even redoing the entire island. We're just setting up a Christmas scene here. So let's get into that. It took me a while to decide exactly how I wanted to do this because there is the Nightmare Before Christmas kind of Christmassy stuff, which I actually kind of like, to be honest with you. It's fun and whimsical. I don't love, I've said this 100 times, I don't love Nightmare Before Christmas. I don't really love Tim Burton stuff in general, although I like the TV show Wednesday on Netflix. That's kind of an okay Tim Burton thing. But generally, especially with the I don't know, what do you call them? Cartoons? Are they cartoons or are they stop motion animation type thingies? I don't know. Anyways, I don't generally love those. They're a little out there. Not out there, that's not what I want to say. They're not my particular aesthetic, is what I want to say. Because just because I don't find them appealing doesn't mean they're bad. They're still good. I just don't find them appealing. Does that make sense? Anyways, the point is, I don't love Nightmare Before Christmas, but I do love the Nightmare Before Christmas stuff in Disney Dreamlight Valley. I've never really watched it. I've caught a few minutes here and a few minutes there. I think I caught the end of it one time, so I don't know how accurate it is to the movie. I know there are some things that are not 100% accurate to their movies, but at any rate, I love it. I think it goes well with the Christmas feel and theme that I was going for. And ultimately, I decided to not use the blue crystal frost and fairies set stuff, with the exception of the crafting bench, until or unless we get a sort of more not so blue crystally crafting bench, or maybe a Christmas related crafting bench, or maybe just a basic wood rustic crafting bench. That one is up here on my island. It's always good to have a cooking station and a crafting bench nearby, just in case. I have learned that lesson the hard way a few times over now. But anyways, ultimately I decided that the blue crystal frost and fairies star path set would be better in Frosted Heights because it's more of a general wintry theme rather than specifically Christmas. And that's what I want to go for my Frosted Heights area. Magical, wintry, that kind of thing, but not Christmassy. I want to put the like holiday specific stuff up on the floating islands so that we can come here and like do video introductions or whatever in these areas during those holiday seasons, but not necessarily have that sort of holiday related stuff out in my valley at all times. I know, I'm a little bit weird, but that's okay. We like weird around here. We appreciate weird, we encourage weird around here. So, I ultimately ended up going with a whole lot of Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. I did have to buy a few things from the premium shop once they became available. I didn't think that they were going to become available in time for me to finish this build. So I did the best I could. As you can see, this is going to dramatically change. This scene grew from something very small that was going to be just this coffee and dessert area, just this really small. This is it. This is the plan that I started with. Everything you see here was going to be the extent of it. I was just going to decorate with red and green lights and put food and stuff out. But luckily, the Christmas stuff became available, like the hot cocoa stand and stuff became available in the premium shop, and I did end up spending my precious moonstones on it so that I could put it up here and expand this scene greatly. I just wish that we could get the characters more consistently on the floating islands. That's my only complaint. I would love to have a bunch of the characters wandering around up here, looking at the rides and sitting at the tables and the benches. I'm not 100% sure they can sit at the tables because the chairs are actually facing in towards the table, which is, how chairs are supposed to be. But I'm not even sure my own character can sit on them. You let me know down in the comments if you've seen anyone sitting at tables with chairs facing the table, or if you had to turn the chair away from the table to get them there. I will say this, right around here, I I didn't love the look of the red and green lights. What I was going for in my head did not translate well into the game. And so I did take a really long break. I started this probably at the end of October. And then I took a really long break from it, hoping that some of the Christmas stuff would maybe show up in the premium shop, or that I would unlock something in the crafting menu to work on, having to do with the Christmas stuff, so that I would have something better to put out here. Ultimately, I got lucky. I did. But yeah, it was a little bit of a struggle in the beginning with what few items I had. I cooked lots of food. I made lots of hot drinks. I think one of those coffees might be the mocha coffee or something. To be honest, I can't remember now, but I made a couple of coffees. I made a couple of hot cocos. I made some cookies and a croissant. And I was so happy when the hot chocolate stand became available to me. And I was able to add that there to add a little more realism, being that there's no hot chocolate on that bigger stand. What would you call that? The, I don't know, like concession hut thingy? I don't know what it's called in the game, but anyways, if I can get more of the characters to show up, and I'll talk more about this at the end of the video, but I kind of want to turn this into maybe an ambient scene. In general, speaking about ambient scenes from Disney Dreamlight Valley, how many people would be interested in general, any scenes from any part of the game, whether it's decorated with in-game items, premium shop items, whatever. What do people think of that? How do people feel about that? I love making ambient scenes and ASMR scenes for people to watch. Honestly, I love making them for myself to watch. I just put them up on my channel so that other people can enjoy them as well. As for some of the other stuff, so a lot of this stuff is premium shop stuff. honestly. It's disappointing, I know, I'm sorry. A lot of it was Star Path stuff. There are only a handful of items here that were not Star Path or whatever things. And so now they are premium shop only items. With the Christmas stuff, I kind of had no choice but to do that. And yes, randomly, when I start up the game, sometimes those rides will be going and sometimes they won't. You know what I mean? Sometimes one will be going and the other will not, and then the next time it'll be the other one going and the first one not. Sometimes both of them will be going. It just seems random. I don't know. But anyways, a lot of this stuff is now premium shop. The snowman, as you saw earlier, is a thing that we got last winter or the winter before, where you had to gather all these supplies and you could build a snowman. Excuse me. I don't know if it's available again or if it will be available again in the future. I had mine partially started and then I never finished it, so I finished it quickly for this video, in this video. And so that's that. The other snowman is just part of the regular game, so you can get that. I believe the Christmas tree and presents are part of the game as well. They're not a premium shop item. So for the trees and things, I used a mixture of the new Wish Blossom Ranch trees because they have the snow on them and they have the fairy lights on them, which I think is really, really pretty. And I think it's great in this Christmas area. I also used the Frosted Heights trees because essentially this is the Frosted Heights just as a floating island. So I did use some of the Frosted Heights floating, no, not floating trees, the Frosted Heights frozen trees, including one of those frozen willows, as you can see, and some of the bare branch trees as well. And then I incorporated some of the obviously taller, snowier, but not lit Wish Blossom Ranch pine trees as well. But then I also included the ones from Storybook Vale. What's that area in Storybook Vale? Maleficent side? Is it like I can't remember what it's called. The like blue and purple area. The trees are so similar, just slightly darker to the blue pine trees on this floating island. So I ultimately ended up incorporating some of those as well because they match almost perfectly. As you can see here, they're just ever so slightly darker, and obviously they don't have snow on them, but being that they're the same sort of color-ish as the ones around the edge, I thought it was perfect. And then lastly, I included some of these icy frozen trees from Wish Blossom Ranch as well because they sparkle, and I like things that sparkle because as much as I try to deny it, I am kind of into sparkly princessy stuff. I can't help it. I'm sorry. Things that sparkle just grab my attention. And there you have it. Your character. Oh, by the way, feel free to take this. Feel free to put any part of this on your own island. Feel free to use any of this in your YouTube videos. I don't mind people copying me when and if I do something worth copying. Go ahead and use it. I am the kind of person who is like, you don't learn unless you copy first. There was a reason back in my day when I was a kid, copy paper was the biggest seller in kids' drawing materials because you learn by copying first and then you make your own stuff, you know? So go ahead and copy it. Copy any part of it you want. I'm totally fine with it. And we're done. When you first arrive on the island here, you are brought to this little, I don't know, let's call it a plaza area with Nightmare Before Christmas fences, I guess. Around it, there is a cooking station and a crafting station. But the main event of this island is down this path. We have the food and coffee stand here. You can get some yummy, yummy treats or come over here and get some hot cocoa from the hot cocoa stand. We've got plenty of places to sit here and enjoy the scenery. And you can also come over here and ride the Christmas train or go over here and ride the Christmas carousel. Of course, we have lots of fun scenery decorating the area, frozen trees and polar bears and light up deer and a Christmas tree. I didn't want to have my main valley fully decked out for Christmas. I mean, I will do some decorating in my main valley for Christmas, mostly in like the bind, the plaza, the docks, the ranch at Wish Blossom Ranch. The main areas potentially, or even the town area in Wish Blossom Ranch, because Wish Blossom Ranch kind of has two sort of main areas. But anyways, those sorts of areas I will, you know, decorate for the holidays or whatever. But I didn't want the Frosted Heights area of my main valley to have a Christmas theme to it all year around. There's a lot of winter, at least where I live, that does not cover the Christmas season by far. And it still can be very pretty and magical even without Christmas. So I have some ideas for January for decorating the Frosted Heights and the snowy areas of Wish Blossom Ranch to make it just as magical, but a little more not holiday related, if that makes sense. But hopefully you enjoyed this. I tried to get some characters to come here to show you. Where did they all go? Anna and Kristoff. Okay, there's Kristoff over there. I have no idea where Anna went. Mickey is wandering around over there. I tried to call a bunch of characters here. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know why it sometimes does and sometimes doesn't. But yeah, if I could get a bunch of characters in here, it would be the perfect Christmas scene. And that brings me to, I'm gonna try to get as many characters in here as I can. And then I'm maybe thinking about doing an ambient scene of this Christmas scene for Christmas for my channel here. If that's something that you might be interested in, the way my character's interested in Mickey, apparently, let me know down in the comments. And on that note, hopefully you enjoyed this little build. If you did, don't forget to like and comment what you did like, maybe what you would do differently, something of the Christmas stuff that I missed, or what you would add from the new star path from this year. And if you really feel up to it, maybe you would consider subscribing to my channel as well. If you
Wonder where
do,
I can
I
find some
appreciate you,
chocolate.
and I will see you in the next one. Bye.